Nothing like a fictional world. We do live in a fictional world after all, so hence the background. Even the dog, he's fictional. This is a case that somebody sent me in from a court case that was on camera, or on that CCTV, which really, I don't know how they're getting away with it, because they have a stain in the courts. A part of the law is the presence of the body removes the flaw in the law. So how they're getting away with CTV? Well, again, fictional world, wherever you like to be. That's why they're doing it, because they run on fiction. No need to use the term man or woman. You are alive. So not much point saying live man or woman. Just say man or woman. Now, how do you prove if they ask you for an identification stating that you are a man or a woman? You produce a common law ID card. And at the end of this video, you will find all the information, londonnews.com. You send the information, or sorry, at yahoo.com. You send the information, a photograph, date of birth, etc., and we will send you back a sample to have a look at. And if it's correct, you go ahead with it. For God's sake, you must stop using the term person. It is so important. Get into your head that it is a swear word. Stick to man or woman. Forget person. It will be the detriment.
Can you hear me? I can see you on the screen there.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, so that's fine.
Yep, I'm also on camera.
Today?
Yes, I am.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, thank you. I'll just read the charge out quickly for you. So it's at Melbourne on the 13th of September 2020. Did fail to comply with the direction given to that person. That direction being to stay at home unless for essential shopping, work, exercise or caregiving purposes, having been given by a person exercising the power granted by the Chief Health Officer under Section 199 of the Public Health and Wellbeing Act. So in relation to that charge today, are you intending to plead guilty or not guilty?
So, Your Honour, I am the living woman.
Yes.
I'm the beneficiary of the trust. I do not consent to contract or joinder, and I waive the benefits on offer.
Okay, so I'll take that that statement to mean that you're intending to plead not guilty today. So thank you for that. I think, Mr. Prosecutor, in this circumstance, contest mention?
Yes, Your Honour.
Yes.
Your Honour, I've been given a copy of the letter provided by Ms. Ben to the court.
Oh, yes.
I hadn't had any prior correspondence. I can't see that there's been any case commenting in the matter, but certainly no objection to the matter going straight to contest mention.
Yes, thank you. I think it's suitable. I'll get a date, case contest mention date. So, Ms. So the next, I'll give you a next date now. This will be the contest mention date, okay? So there's various steps that the matter has to go through before it gets to a contested hearing. So I understand that's what you'd be looking for eventually anyway, would be a contested hearing or some chance to address the court in relation to the charge. Today is only a mention court, so we're sort of triaging matters into basically matters that are going to be pleas of guilty or pleas of not guilty. So not guilty pleas need to go down a different pathway. So if you just hold on there for a second, we'll get a new court date.
So, Your Honour, are you administering my trust without my consent?
No, there's no administration of any trust at the moment, so we're just dealing with the matter under the Criminal Procedure Act, okay, so that's 2009, an act in force in Victoria, and the next step will be a mention date under the Criminal Procedure Act, under Section 55 of that Act. So if you take it under Section 55 of the Criminal Procedure Act, that'll be the next court date in relation to that, and that'll set out the process of what's occurring.
I do not consent to contract or joinder, and I waive the benefits on offer.
Thank you, Miss. Your matter now is booked in for the next court steps to occur. The next court date is the 7th of December, okay, so that'll be a contest mention back online in the Melbourne Magistrates Court, okay, so that might take between 15 minutes and half an hour depending on what's discussed on that day, but that mention date will give you a better chance to discuss your matter further, okay, and the submissions you wish to make, okay, so thank you for your time today in court, and you're now excused.
Just confirm.
Thank you for your time.
You're on the line there. You can see and hear us.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Your Honour, is an application to withdraw this matter.
All right. Thank you. On the prosecution application to have the charge withdrawn, charge is now struck out. Thank you. The charge has now been struck out. You may be excused.
Thank you. Thank you.
So a living man or a living woman can contract with another living man or a living woman. A corporation can contract with another corporation. A corporation cannot contract with a living man or a living woman, or vice versa. The government, which is formed of the Crown, the UK, the City of London, the police, social services, they're all profit-making corporations. So how is this corporation telling living men and women what to do? The way they do it is they set up what's called a legal fiction. So when you were born, unbeknownst to your parents, they registered your birth. So Joanne of the family blogs, who is the living woman or living baby at that time, became Miss Joanne Bloggs, surname in capitals, a corporation. That is a person. In 1862, the definition of person was changed to mean corporation. It's part of the legalese trickery. So now, the government, the corporation, can now contract with the legal fiction corporation of Joanne Bloggs, in capitals, the person. If you look at letters, fines, etc. that come through the post, you'll see there'll be different variants, but some or all of your name will be in capitals. Those are the various corporations that are set up in your name in order for the government to contract with you. So in order to contract with you, they impose rules, licenses, fines, bills, taxes, regulations. They are all contracts between the corporation of the government and the corporation of your legal fiction. For a contract to be valid, there are certain rules that need to be abided by. Firstly, the parties must be competent to contract, so they must be of the age of consent, they must be mentally able, and they must be free to contract between legal or lawful entities. There must be free and genuine consent. So that consent has not been obtained by fraud, deceit, coercion or mistake. There must be full disclosure, providing all material information that may influence the decision on both parties' behalves. There must be valuable consideration, so something of value needs to exchange between both parties. There needs to be certainty of terms. Those terms and conditions are fixed and they're unable to be changed without agreement. There must be a meeting of minds. So when those parties recognise and comprehend their obligations. There must be signatures or autographs in wet ink as recorded evidence of reciprocal consent. If the contract is between a living man or a living woman and another living man or living woman, then it's an autograph. If a person is signing on behalf of their legal fiction, it's a signature. And there must be privity of contract, so that contract cannot be sold on to a third party. So there you have it. You, as the living soul, are not your legal fiction. You are not a person. However, you act on behalf of your legal fiction. So you choose what contracts you want to enter into. In common law, the laws are simple. You cause no harm, loss or injury to another living soul or their property. There's no threat of harm, loss or injury, and you're honourable in all your dealings. So let's look at the definition of crime. It is defined as an act committed in violation of a law. It's unlawful activity, and it's a serious offence. So if you've forgotten to get insurance on your car, or you've forgotten to sawn it and you get sent a fine, who have you caused harm, loss or injury to? It's not actually breaking a law, it's breaking a rule. Those rules only apply to persons. If you look at every single piece of legislation that's been issued by the government, by Parliament, it only applies to person. You will not find the word man or woman in there, because they cannot impose it on living souls. So think to yourself, where is the victim? So your legal fiction becomes a member of the Society of the UK Corporation. So you have to follow the rules of that society. Well, your legal fiction does. However, you can't just ignore something that's been imposed on you. If you don't respond, i.e. if you exercise your right to silence, which is another trick, by the way, it's considered tacit acceptance. You must rebut. You have to state that what they're saying is not true. So if you need to rebut face to face, so say for example a police officer is trying to impose a fine on you, that fine is an invitation to contract. That's how you have to look at it. So all you say is, I do not consent. I do not wish to contract with you. I do not answer questions. You need to stick to the script, because legalese has taken so many of the common English words and turned them against us in order to trip and trap us. So for example, the police officer will say to you, do you understand? And that means, do you agree to stand under my authority? You would think to yourself, yeah, I understand what you're saying. And so you say, yes. You've just contracted, you've just done what's called create joinder. You don't want to do that. So stick to the script. I do not consent. I do not wish to contract with you. I do not answer questions. That is your rebuttal, face to face. If you get something in the post, again, you need to rebut it, do it in writing, respond within 3 days, and you can rebut with conditional acceptance, which pretty much says, okay, you want to fine me £90 for parking in the wrong place. Prove to me that we had a contract, that I agreed to the terms of that contract. Prove to me that me, as a living man or a living woman, am liable, because actually they're fining your legal fiction, not you. So don't let the corporations grey the simple understanding of the law. Everything other than common law is contract. Of course, if you do actually break a law and create a victim, so you do cause harm, loss or injury or threat to another living man or woman, then you are breaking the law, and they are able to deal with you in that way. But everything else, that is contract.
Well, thank you for watching that. I hope it's been of interest, and I hope it helps a lot of people. But do get a common law ID card. And something else you can do at the common law court, you can register your car with the common law. I'm using the word register because it's everybody understands it, but we don't register, we list it with us. You remove the ownership from the corporation. They state once it's registered, they own it. The same with your house. If you haven't got a certificate of title, you don't own your house. If you have a mortgage, get a certificate of title, because 9/10 of the law, possession is 9/10 of the law, so you have a certificate. It just slows these criminals down in their steps. Stop them. Get an ID card, register your car with the common law court, get a common law court certificate of title for your house, and of course the car is a master deed. So it's all done. All information is on londonnews.com. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.